after those kind of film, after those kind of sequence with at the level, when I finish, I come back home and I say to myself, I even try. I went to Paris because they called me for a movie called Utopia. But after the first day of location, I said, I cannot do it. My mind doesn't have any new idea. Practically, I bring to the director only old ideas. So I canceled the movie, and I stayed 1 year into my house because I realized that I need to know, yes, if all my journey was try to find what light means, knowledge, awareness, love. What is inside light? So I started to take all the books that I didn't read completely, or maybe I need more book or whatever, and I started to reading so much about philosophy, all the philosophy around the world about vision, to understand what was inside the light. And of course, Isaac Newton told me that just with the prism, you can divide the white light into red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. I mean, to me, and each one was telling me the kind of meaning of each different color. First of all, one color means singularity. White light, white light is the symbol of everybody. Each color is one specific frequency, one specific wavelength. So can have one specific emotion, one specific sentiment, one specific character, one specific knowledge. So I started to have this concept in my mind, and only after 1 year that I realized that now I have a new energy, I have a new knowledge. I can, when you reach one peak of your life, that's a great advice. You have the courage and the humility to stop. Otherwise, you will do the copy of yourself. Each season is going like that, like energy. You need to go down, pick up, to escape your roots, to feed your basic element in order to come back with the new knowledge, and so on, so on. It's something that, particularly when you reach one kind of success, I mean, I was not even 40. I had the first Oscar, made a movie like Apocalypse Now. Everybody was calling me and says, no, wait a minute. I don't want to do copy of myself. Now, with all the reading, with all the reading Goethe, reading Wittgenstein, Isaac Newton, Plato, Aristotle, I find the new element. Now, I don't have only 3 main elements to play: shadows, penumbra, and light. But I have also what Leonardo da Vinci was called the children of shadows and light, the colors. Because in fact, they are the combination, the graduation between darkness and light. And I started to accept to do La Luna with Bernardo Bertolucci. Bernardo Bertolucci, if you see his movie, most of the time he expresses himself through, not directly. Sometimes he's in the verbalized sequence or in acting, something is being suggested, or there is a metaphor, or there is a symbol, or there is something that is a kind of feeling about something, but it's not totally told. Our main balance between the two of us was the fact that he was using the conscious way and the unconscious way, and I was using the light and shadows. They was balancing together. So why I thinking why he called Luna, a movie that is about the mother, and through this reading came the answer, because the moon is the symbol of the mother. So I realized that this movie has to be done completely through a symbolic way. And the color has those kind of potential. What means symbology of color? Any one of us, in any moment of our life, particularly when we are kids, in my opinion, even when we are in the womb of our own mother, we are witness some kind of episode. They can be in the harmony moment or conflict moment. Now, if I witness a conflict between my father and my mother, and my father wearing that red color, for example, scarf, shirt, whatever, I make an identification between conflict and red. Or maybe my father was wearing yellow. By the way, I put in together that kind of yellow reminds to me the kind of a conflict that my father had with my mother. So for me, it's a yellow. For you can be red. For her can be blue. For her can be violet, whatever. So each one of us see in a different way. Not only because we see through three main elements, the three primary colors, red, green, blue. The combination of these three elements is making to us the color vision. Probably our eyes are like our finger. Which one of us has a little difference between one or the other? But apart from this technical element, Plato was used to say the vision is an encounter between an image that coming from a simulacrum reflected and the fire, he was telling, which is the will from our mind. They're going to meet this image, and this encounter making the vision is not scientifically correct, but in a psychological way it's perfect. That means that each one of us can see the reality in a different way. So practically, symbolically, according to who is doing that project, can use different color to expressing specific element. And that's creating the vision of Luna. And we making the scene, there was a connection between this was in the theater, she was a singer, an opera singer, the mother. And we make a connection between this one and this one, and between this color and her. So we divide completely the symbology according to sun, moon. One is more connected with male figure, the other one is more female figure. So practically all the color spectrum I divided in two parts. This is the symbol that every civility had for history all around the world. So practically in using one color or another, you identify personality, you identify relationship. But when this is red, and this is a painting that is in Leningrad about the Russian Revolution in 1917. I will speaking more widely before we screen red tomorrow. But this is again some image of red that I made in a still camera. But we speak about red tomorrow, just before the screening, okay? But soon after, Francis Coppola called me to do One from the Heart. One from the Heart was a relationship between one young man and one young woman. The two of them has some kind of dream. As they find themselves, they are now dreaming the same way, they love each other, but they have a different dream. And they're searching for realizing their own dream through different person, till that finally they realize the, the real realization of their own dream is their relationship. And at that time, being in Los Angeles and going to Disneyland, I realized that the world of Disneyland is fantastic because Disney has all the artists, they are expressing themselves using the symbology of color because they are expressing a story through a child. And child see images and understand very clearly the symbol. So many of my visual, let's say, inspiration was Disney in taking this story. But where the idea came from? Well, Francis brought me to Las Vegas because he wanted to show this story to Las Vegas. I don't know if you've been in Las Vegas or not, but it's really an incredible, gigantic toy made of energy and games in the middle of the desert. And I was impressed at how, particularly at night, how much light, how much energy, visual energy, light and color they were using in any street, in every place, in relation to what normal human beings mean or need. Why? Well, since ever, human being started his own need to go to work, to act in a physical way with the sunrise. And during the day, particularly, that's why there is this kind of metaphor between the sun journey and the man journey. Because mainly was for century something physical, something that was connected with action, with the sunrise and under the bath or energy of the sun. But at the end of the day, when the sun is setting and people need to relax, need to rest, now is the moment of the moon, the rise. The moon is creating this completely different world of color, is the more female moment, is the more the need of reflection, to meditating, to resting, to have a sentimental contact. So practically, the energy, they are arriving very strongly on us, under the sun, particularly with the very one side of the color spectrum, red, orange, yellow mainly, is giving to us those kind of need for activity. This is scientific. I mean, we change the color, the blood pressure. We change the metabolism under the beam of light, without any doubt. There is a scientific very element called the chance to use color to take care to some kind of imbalance that we have in our body. Because color is nothing else than vibration or energy. So watching an image, reality, painting, television, cinema, whatever, we are watching a general view of image between the contrast, between the tonality, between the color, we feel some kind of emotion. Why? Because we don't see only with the eyes, we see them with the entire body. This energy they are rubbing on us is creating a kind of emotion. And that's why we are reacting when we see a conflict story or an harmony story and so on. That's called physiology of color. In a sense, there's a specific book about that. In the sense that we are reacting physically. Try to be with that color of your shirt into a room completely dressed with that color. You feel that the time is passing very fast. You feel that your energy is very high. You feel that in 1 hour time, you feel that maybe you live at 3 hours. Because your energy, you come out with that kind of push that is incredible. There are people that are study with the kind of color supposed to be into an hospital, into a submarine, into a bedroom or in living room and so on, because we need that kind of energy vibration. And we need to know. We doing this kind of selection in our work anyhow. So it's better that we know why we are using one color or another. Do not forget the color has a great potential to be coming towards to us or go away from us. All the warm color are coming towards. All the cold color, green, blue, indigo, white, go away from us. So there is a kind of perspective of color. If we take a decision to put in a lady and a man next to each other, and we want to put him with the blue shirt and her with the yellow shirt, we are telling that they are not in harmony. They are complementary. Him try to go away from her. But if we put in her one seat behind, we feel that the her red, orange color want to come forward and he want to go back. They want to meet. Very simple example to tell you an incredible way that we can use color in visualize a sequence. It's like shadows and light. If I put in two people next to each other and one sharp light on him and shadows on her, I'm telling those two people doesn't get together. They have two different things. But if I put him with the light way back, it look like they want to come forward close to her. So there is a language in using this kind of element. The most important thing, particularly today, that we're watching images on video, in digital, that we lost the mystery. Before, cinematographer was the one that was supposed to know the kind of image they can have after the image came out from the laboratory. Today we see right away the images. Are we losing the power? No. Because if we know the meaning of light and color in the way it is written in that book, we know how to change the image in order to be in harmony with the story. And so we have much more control of all the image. Where I am? Did I make something wrong? Yeah. Oh yes, Lady Oak. That's another story, very interesting. It was really the symbol of what the principal symbol I was talking before. The story is of course, it's a legend. Of course, it's a metaphor. Two people who love each other, and they receive a kind of curse. They cannot live together. Him is a man during the day, and with the sun setting, is being transformed in a wolf. She is a lady, but during the day she is an oak, a bird, and only when the sun is setting, the moon is rising, she comes back to be a woman. So they are always together and totally separated. They cannot live or love together. That's the curse they received. And that was when I read the story, it was perfect for myself. And all the symbology that was searching the connection between the sun and the man and the moon and the woman. And when they can go back together, when there is an eclipse, that they are together. So symbolically, that's the way that I realized this movie. Till we reach the last emperor. This is something that we will talk after tomorrow. But you know this story. It was, for me, was a kind of complete the journey that I could do. Apocalypse Now was the closing chapter about researching between darkness and light. The Last Emperor was the closing chapter between the color research that could do it and the journey between black and white with the color in the between. Once again, I need to stop. I stopped once again, and I started to say to me, well, what I'm doing. I continue to separate the element. Separating light from darkness. Separating color within the light. What I'm doing? Why I'm doing that? Yes, I realized that if you separate an element, you are able to analyze better each one, to respect. I was asking to myself, why I'm different from my wife? Why I'm different when I'm dreaming or when I wake up? My life is more grow up more during the day or during the night? With the sun or with the moon? Those was the kind of question that I have in myself. Till that I said, go back to study the Greek mythology, and the main concept from Aristotle and Plato, Anaximene, Anaxagora, and many other philosophers, the life is mainly connected with starting with matter, but is divided in 4 basic elements: the earth, fire, water, air. Called a basic element because they cannot be transformed. Only when they are in harmony, when they are in balance together, they can create energy. So the journey now, my visual vocabulary is more extensive. At the beginning I had 3 elements, shadows, penumbra, light. Now I do have black, orange, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, white. Now I have matter, earth, fire, water, air, energy, which can be visualized through different color, of course. So that's how I started my 3rd period with the search for balance between different elements. And I found an answer to myself. That was finally understood the meaning of my own life. And I started to do Tucker with Francis Coppola. This is Norman Rockwell. The story is a kind of dreamer of Mr. Preston Tucker that wants to do something completely new at the end of the Second World War. The brand new was creating the new car at that moment, 1945. And I presented to Francis the idea to use the 4 basic elements symbolized by some painter. This is Otto Dix for the fire. This is an image of, once again, those images are directly made in the still camera, Kodachrome. This is Madonna and what I was able to do in Dick Tracy, making a distinction between the color spectrum. And I said to myself, let's visualize completely what we call good with the one segment of the color spectrum. Red, which is the symbol of the little kid, the innocent. Orange, the symbol of the fiancée, female. Yellow, symbol of the Dick Tracy. And the other side is all the bad guys, still breathless. So practically I was creating a conflict of primary color with their own complementary color to make in the film. But the principle was the fact that if you think it for a moment, there is a moment in our history that there is always some kind of media, some kind of culture that is giving the the key to any other. During the Greek period, 5th century before Jesus, philosopher was the most important thing. During the Roman period was the architecture. During the Renaissance was the painter. The 17th century was the music. The 18th century was the literature. The 20th century was the image, which was the photography, cinema, and so on. In between the First and the Second World War, particularly in Germany, was the German expressionist. The image that you saw of Otto Dix, the woman in red, was so strong, those kind of impact visually, the influence theater, Bertolt Brecht theater, music, Kurt Weill, all the photography, and it was influenced completely into this kind of visual style. The cinema, many German directors went to America and made all those films in 1930, 1940, completely in this direction. Definitely, the painters, the Dick Tracy, Chester Gould, was influenced by Otto Dix. And I visualized the painting next to the drawing. They match perfectly. So the idea was to creating a color conflict into the story. But finally we arrived at the basic moment of the history of the element that I was searching, which is Little Buddha. Little Buddha, oh sorry again, this is Keanu Reeves, play Siddhartha. This is the master. The story was about this gentleman. He was a master, a teacher. That was in searching for the reincarnation. This is a kind of Buddhist concept, let's say. When somebody dies, particularly when he's a very high spiritual leader, let's say the soul, the spirit, is reincarnated to someone else at that moment. Exactly the moment when he died, somebody was born. So his will was to find who is the reincarnation of his own master. And he receiving some message from different persons all around the world, and he have to go in any place and see and feel if this new kid, man or girl sometime, correspond to the behavior of his own teacher. And in doing that, he discovered a young boy in America, a young boy in Nepal, and a young girl in India. And he doesn't know which one could be, because each one can be possible. There can be the reincarnation. And this was the main question that we had from the beginning with Bernardo. Which one we can select to be the reincarnation of the master of the master? In my concept, I said to me, well, let me have, if I'm using what is the three primary color, red, green, blue. If you combine the three together, you are creating white light. So if I searching visually, and I'm making the connection between these three, I can say that each child, giving some kind of color tonality to each one, is one part of the reincarnation. Only together they can represent the reincarnation of this man. So at the beginning I said the master is the teacher, and I like to give it the color of the earth. The color of the earth is black, because the Mother Earth is the nourish us, like the teacher is nourishing children. So I asked to Bernardo to filming the first sequence at night, not during the daytime. And after I gave it the color blue air to the most advanced nation in technology, which was Seattle in America, the young boy, green, the young girl that living in the forest, red, the young boy that living in Kathmandu, and only the three together, in my opinion, they can create the reincarnation, the new spirit. But I arrived at this point by myself in visually. Bertolucci arrived in a philosophic concept, and this was the way that we put it together, the visual film. What that means, in Buddhism, they believe in the direct reincarnation, from one person to another person. Only the cycle of rebirth can create enlightenment. We don't completely feel in the same way, but definitely there is something very clear. Each one of us has his own personality, has his own face, has his own character, has his own behavior. So we can say that the body, the matter, can be single, can be represent someone. But the spirit, the energy of all of us, practically when we are passing away, all the energy are going to be all together, creating a new form of energy. That means that it's something wonderful. The matter can be belong to a single person, but the energy belongs to all of us. That means that one day, I don't know when, we can be all together. Thank you very much. No, I think we want to have answer the questions. Yes, let's go take a coffee break. Yes.
我们先休息15分钟。